Hello, guys. Welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted to be joined with Jimmy first. He is now 14 wins, 2 defeats, with 4 wins by knockout, and he's back out. I do believe next Saturday at the Magnus Centre in Rotherham, and he's fighting for the English lightweight title against Lewis Sylvester over 10 rounds. And yeah, good to get you back on.
Yeah, good to be back on, mate. Hope you're well.
And so we'll talk about, you fought in December last year and you fought Corey Gibbs. It was like how long notice did you get for that one? First fight?
Was the first fight? I think it was 3 or 4 weeks actually. I think it was about 4 weeks. I mean, I'm always fit. I'm never too far away from my weight. I don't have to drop, stones or anything like that. So yeah, it was a massive opportunity on Sky Sports. One not to be turned down. You've got to take the opportunities when they arise.
Mm-hmm. And of course, going into the fight itself, talk me through the fight. Of course, his gum shield came out 3 times, 4 times. I mean, even more times when the ref took the points off, even though it fell out more times than when the ref took the points off it. But how did it feel like? Yes, it was a win, but it wasn't the way you would have liked to win, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it kept disrupting the flow of the fight, and the commentators were kind of biased, saying, "Oh, it's disrupting the flow for Corey," and blah 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 blah. But yeah, I mean, it's going back a while, and I've had a few fights since then, and it was what it was. I got the win on Sky, and it set me up nicely. So yeah, it was a bizarre one, really.
Did you enjoy fighting on Sky's? How was it like? Was there any nerves going into like fighting live on TV?
Yeah, I think there's always a bit of nerves before any fight, really. But it's just nice to get that experience, on the big stage. And it was great. It's nice to be looked after, being put up in a hotel, being around all the Sky Sports presenters and all the Sky team and boxer, and and lots of other good boxers on fight week. So yeah, it's a nice thing to be doing press conferences, weigh-ins on the big stage, and yeah, man, it's cool. It's good.
Mm-hmm. Rate your performance out of 10 with that fight.
That fight, I mean, on 4 weeks' notice, I'd probably give myself a 6 or a 7. There's always improvements, So yeah, I'd have said 6 or a 7. There's always improvements to be made, I think, mate.
Mm-hmm. Then you fought Josh Padlell at the Bradford Hotel in March. Of course, you were defending your area belt, and you took your first defeat. It was 97-94, and when he put you down in the 9th round, were you hurt, or what was it like being on the canvas from round for the first time in your career? And
yeah, it was weird because on BoxRec it shows that it was a knockdown, but the referee didn't give me a count, so it wasn't actually classed as a knockdown. But I don't know why they wrote it down as a knockdown.
because here it says first down in 9th round.
It says that, but the referee didn't give me a count. He just said, "Get up, up you get." So I think it was classed as a slip or an off balance. He just said, "Get up." There was no count. So I don't think it was classed as that, but it was what it was. It was really a silly fight to take. Looking back on it, should have vacated the belt, but we'll learn. I'd been ill 3 weeks before, and
so why didn't you pull out, or just as a fighter, you just don't want to let the people who brought tickets down, and of course your opponents as well's training full camp, and of course you've put the work in as well. So
yeah, and that's not taking anything away from Padley, because he's a very, very good fighter, and I wasn't able to adapt in there. He took away a lot of my game, but I was 15-20% behind on my reactions, that I just wasn't there that night. And I didn't pull out because like you've just said, I didn't want to let people down, and the whole show would have been cancelled if I'd have done that. So it was silly, really, because you have to, you live and you learn. But
was it
you know,
hard taking your first defeat as a pro?
It was really, it was really in the manner that that I took it, really. With the circumstances, with leading up, I was energy drained. But again, it is what it is, and it's all learning. And if I can learn from my mistakes and how I didn't adapt in that fight, and in the Corey Gibbs too, which I'm sure you'll mention, which you want to talk about. If I can adapt from those and learn from them fights, then I'm gonna be the English champion come 21st of October.
Mm-hmm. And moving on to the Corey Gibbs fight, the second fight, it was a defeat, and it was 78-74.
Yeah, they got the tactics. They stayed in southpaw for the whole fight, and I think it was just down to myself. I didn't adapt. I didn't get my shots off, really. I was a little bit hesitant, and I was a little bit. I just wasn't. I didn't adapt again how I know I can do, and I just didn't get my punches off how I should have done, really, on that fight. But fair play to Gibbs. They had a good game plan, and it was a good result for him. And,
unfortunately, the super glue worked, didn't it?
That's right. And me and him have sparred for this camp as well. I've been down to Birmingham twice to do some rounds with him and his brother. So they're good guys, the top lads, and maybe we'll get a trilogy on down the line. Who knows?
Because it's 1-1, and even though it didn't go your way with the second fight, you still had good success in that fight at times.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It was still a good fight. I had a lot of success in there, and I was always in the fight. That's for sure.
But was it hard to take? What defeat was harder to take, that Gibbs one or the Padley one?
Maybe the first one, because it's your first loss, and really I shouldn't have gone ahead with the fight after being ill. I thought I was going to be able to recover, but I was just energy drained in that fight. So yeah, it cost me, and it was a bad decision.
But so you thought you won?
No, I'm on about a bad decision from me going ahead with the fight because I've been ill. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But it's good how, even though you've lost your last two fights, that you've got this opportunity, because you've been fighting everyone who's been put in front of you, and you've deserved this chance. And you've got Lewis Sylvester, who I do believe won it back in July against Adam Cope. And it was controversial as well, apparently. It was controversial.
Lewis Sylvester. Yeah, I watched a bit of the fight. It was a close one, and the judges liked what Sylvester did. Yeah, what Lewis Sylvester did. So
it was close, but I thought Cope just nicked it. But I mean, people were saying a bit of a hometown decision, but when it is in somebody's hometown, you really do need to try and snatch it away from them. As with you and the Gibbs fight, you really needed, especially the second fight, when it's his hometown, he's from Birmingham, you really needed to snatch it away from him, didn't you?
Yeah, that's it. When you're the home fighter, there is that little bit of an advantage. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
How excited are you to be headlining another fight and for the English title as well?
Well, it's massive, isn't it? There's history in the making here. My last 4 or 5 opponents, they've all had good winning records. I don't shy away from anyone. It's a belter of a fight. I've trained hard, and really excited, really buzzing. I'm taking a good crowd from Halifax with me, and Brighouse and Huddersfield and all my local area. And we're going to bring the noise, and it's a massive opportunity. I don't know when the last 42-year-old won an English title. I don't know if there's ever been
history in itself.
History in itself, plus I don't know if there's ever been an English champion from my hometown of Halifax. I don't know if there's ever been one. I know that Jack Sellers and Scott Gladwin both fought for one, but they didn't win it. So yeah, there's two lots of history in the making, but I just need to concentrate on getting that win, and doing what I know I can do best. And I've trained really well for it, really hard, and it's been a good camp. Yeah.
Was it your last spar today with Callum Simpson?
No, he's a much bigger guy. I didn't spar with him.
Oh yeah, he's super middle. What were
yeah.
as you were in his corner on Sky
right.
Sports? Because I saw you and on Sky, and what's your thoughts on his performance that night?
I thought Callum he's a very good prospect. It was a brilliant fight for him at this stage of his career against a proper tough Mexican. I thought it was a very controlled, measured performance from him, which Mark Hurley, the trainer, asked him. He wanted to use angles. He wanted to, show off his boxing skills, not cramp his work a little bit, not smother his work. And I thought he put on a fantastic performance. He got a 10-8 round. I think he won pretty much all the rounds, maybe bar one. The judges might have given the Mexican one round. The Mexican said he was the toughest and the best boxer that he'd fought. So Callum's a real good talent, and he's he's developing very, very well. And it's a pleasure being in corner with him.
So do you think that he could fight like a Mark Jeffers or Zach Shelley or Jack Cullen or somebody?
Yeah, I think. Some of them are. Jack Cullen would be a good one because he's the British champion now. I think Jeffers is his same manager, so that might be more unlikely. But
because he's with Kevin.
That's right, because they're both with Kevin. Whereas I think Jack Cullen's with VIP. So I think that'd be a good fight. So, and one that I believe Callum wins as well.
Mm-hmm. And so with your title fight, have you what do you know about Lewis Sylvester, and have you studied him?
I've sparred him once. I think we might have shared 4 rounds together. I know that he's a good mover. I know that he can box really well, and he's slick. So, but the I've had, a lot of very, very good sparring, similar to his style. And, the 2 fights with Corey Gibbs, who's a very good back foot fighter as well, will hold me in very, very good stead for this fight, yeah.
And are you taking much out of that 4 rounds you've done with him?
Not really. Sparring. It was all nip and tuck. Quite. It was very close, and he's got a lot of good attributes, and it's up to me to take them away from him and execute our game plan.
For anyone who can't make it, is there like a live stream to watch, or?
I'm not actually sure. I couldn't tell you. I don't think there is at the minute. No.
Is it his home show or yours, or?
It's his manager and promoter's show, actually. It's Steffi.
So you're going into the Lions Den again?
I am. He's the champion, and it's in his his hometown's Hull, but his manager and promoter trainer are putting the show on. So I'm kind of in the away corner, but again, it's an English title. The judges
and the right man will win.
Have to be neutral, exactly. Yeah.
How's I presume camp slowly coming to you sort of nearly ending camp, coming to the back end of the camp, and how's camp gone overall? Good.
Really good. I've had a lot of sparring for this one. Probably sparred more than I would normally. Alex Matvienko, really good guy. He's put me on some. He's got a lot of very, very good fighters over in Bolton. So I've been getting some cracking rounds in with some of his lads out there. Aaron Hayden, Joe Peel. Obviously, I went down and did quite a bit with Corey Gibbs and his brother Tion Gibbs, who were very good movers. So yeah, everything's really good, and like we say, yeah, we've got a good solid week. I've just had an hard session with Callum Simpson and the gaffer Mark. Train, like we say, yeah, it's coming to that last week. I'm quite tired now, but we push through, and then I'll have a few days rest before the fight, and raring to go.
Mm-hmm. What does the English title mean? Like, what would it mean to you?
I mean, it's everything, isn't it? It's humongous, history in the making, and I think it's everything. It's a huge opportunity, one that I'll grab with both hands. Yeah.
Do you believe you win the fight by knockout, or the usual saying, if it comes, it comes?
If it comes, it comes. I know that I've got power in both hands, but I won't be looking for that. I'll be just looking to listen to my corner team and execute, everything that we've been working on.
How did this fight first come about? Because not everyone after 2 defeats would go straight into a big title fight. Normally, some people would go for a 6-round warm-up fights, but with you, you just went straight for it, and rightly so as well. Because even though you've come up short, they've been close fights, and the fights you've won as well. So you've just
yeah. I mean, I'm a very active fighter. Like, I've been a professional for 6 years, and I've had 17 pro fights. 2 of those years was COVID. So I've had 17 fights in 4 years, and 2 of them have been 8-rounders, and I think this is my 4th 10-rounder. So I'm an active fighter. I'm busy. I don't need a tune-up fight. I'm just coming off an 8-rounder with Corey Gibbs, and like we say, it's an opportunity not to be missed. And how it came about, Steffi Bull contacted me. They took a mandatory and not a mandatory, sorry, a voluntary. And they obviously picked me because I'm the oldest one, and
Do you think they're overlooking you, or?
I've been in Steffi Bull's gym quite a bit, and by the way, there's a lot of respect between me and them. I know them really well. They're all good guys, and Lewis is a nice lad. Steffi's sound. I don't think they'll overlook me because they know what I'm about, and they know how tough I am, and they know how dangerous I am as well, because I've sparred a lot of his lads, and so yeah, I don't think they'll overlook me, no.
Mm-hmm. What can fans expect from you next Saturday?
All out action, and a really good performance, a good measured performance as well, and a lot more boxing ability than they've seen, and I'm just improving all the time and gaining more and more experience. Like we say, 17th professional fight, they'll see all out action.
Mm-hmm. And
a win, and a good win from me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And before I let you go, do you want to thank anybody, like just the usual people, trainers, managers, sponsors, just friends, family, anybody?
Yeah, and I appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Yeah, there's my manager trainer, Chris Aston, Mark Hurley, Callum Simpson. We've been getting a lot of work together. The guys at Northern Fitness, and then my main sponsors, Berry Financial Management, Good Karma Coffee House, Pure Travel in Halifax. We've got Shaw Metal Solutions in Halifax as well. KE Stone Masons, and also MG Locksmiths. So yeah, it's just I've had some nice help from them guys. But yeah, man, this is my time. I won the Central Area title, then Callum did after me. Now he's won another title. It's my second title to pick up, and it's meant to be. When I got the big win against Justin Newell, Mark Hurley was in the corner. He's in the corner here again. So yeah, there's a few things which it's written in the stars. This.
Mm-hmm. And a massive good luck, mate.
Hey, listen, mate. Always good. Always great to speak to you, and really appreciate it, pal. Yeah.
Thank you, mate, and massive good luck with the fight. All the best.
Top man. Thank you
Bye,
very much,
mate.
mate. See you, pal.